All right, we're going to talk about 3 veterans to keep on your Dynasty fantasy football teams. Before we get started, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel to catch more videos just like this one. All right, Kyle, hit us with the fine print, and then let's get into it.
Yeah, so these are going to be 3 guys I'm not running out to buy, but if I'm a contender, I am not worried about trying to sell them because of their age. I'm going to hang on to them. I'm going to ride them into the dirt and try to win that championship. Our first guy is Travis Kelce. I know he's getting up there in age. He's 34 already. But even though people thought this was widely considered a disappointing year for him, he still finished as the overall tight end 3 in PPR scoring. The dude is still amazing at his job. No signs of really slowing down that much. I don't think any of the lack of production versus 2022 was really his fault. You know, they actually had Rashee Rice playing well, actually had a pretty good running game all year. I think it was just a fact of, you know, doing some different things, but he still mattered when it counted. Came up big in the playoffs. Like, if that keeps rolling, keep riding this guy and win your championships, man.
He had a down season for Kelce, right? He had a great season for a tight end, a down season for Kelce. He really kind of only underperformed during the fantasy playoffs, which is super unfortunate. But then he was able to shake it off and come back in the actual
I see what you did there.
Thanks. And so he showed that flash of greatness again. And Patrick Mahomes went back to his safety blanket, the old bread and butter, and helped win a Super Bowl. So this is a guy, like you said, he's not really showing any signs of slowing down. He's still fantastic and not retiring. This is a guy who just makes a difference week in and week out. It's more weird when he doesn't have a huge game. And I love players like that.
Yeah, for
on
real.
my roster. So he's making a difference week in and week out. And that's someone I want to continue to have.
Yep. Still a positional advantage for sure.
100%. All right, who's your next one?
Next guy's the cheetah, Tyreek Hill. He has actually put a finite amount of seasons left on his career. He wants to finish up in 2025. He's got 2 years left, and then you know he's done for a fact, unlike any of these other players. Like, that's scary when you hear about it, but at the same time, if you're a contender and you got this guy on your team, hardly, like, people are going to have a hard time scoring more points than this guy on a weekly basis. The only reason anybody finished ahead of him this year is because he missed a few weeks with an injury. That could happen to anybody at any time. You can't really factor that in. On a week-by-week basis, this guy was phenomenal. And I'm going to stick with that. I'm not trying to run off and sell that to somebody else so they have this awesome receiver for 2 years.
Yeah, I'm only selling him if I am rebuilding. If I don't stand a chance, right? But with Tyreek on your team, you probably stand a chance. But if you're going to sell him to somebody, get an amazing value out of him. Because yes, he only has 2 years left, but you're almost handing someone a chance at a championship, if not giving them championship, depending on how their roster is made up. He is that valuable of a player. So if you are close to contending or contending, do not give this guy up. Ride him into the dirt because the guy is playing at such a high level that he's phenomenal. Again, a surprise if he has a down week.
Yeah.
A big shock. So yeah, I'm riding him into the dirt.
For sure.
All right, who's your third guy?
All right. Last but not least, Mr. Mike Evans had the best year of his career this year with Baker Mayfield. Not Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield. And he just signed a new contract, so he's there for another 2 years. There's interest between the Bucks and Baker for them to get a deal done. I think they will. And because I think Baker fits that system so well, but he also meshes with these receivers and this team. I really think that deal's going to get done. And if that's going to get done, you want to stick with Mike Evans. He was cream of the crop this year with Baker, chucking that deep ball all year long. It was the most consistent that deep threat Mike Evans has been in his career to this date, and that's really saying something. So I am definitely sticking with this guy. He's a week-to-week must-start difference maker. Yeah, I'm not rushing out to get rid of him at all.
I mean, the rapport between Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield is incredible. And I think that Baker Mayfield is happy uh, down there in Tampa, and signing Mike Evans, I think, is just cherry on top to get Baker to come back. So I have a feeling that Baker's sticking around, and you're going to have that connection again for at least the next 2 years, if not longer. I mean, if they continue to thrive, why not stick around, right? So,
Yep.
yeah, top 10 wide receiver, very consistent all year. And Baker Mayfield throws a nice deep ball. We saw it in college. He finally had an offensive line to give him, longer than a second and a half so that his receivers could get down the field. He was able to chuck it up a little bit. Mike Evans, huge beneficiary. I don't see it slowing down for any reason.
No, and I just want to throw one more caveat out there. I'm not concerned with the change at offensive coordinator there either.
Yeah.
I think their connection is strong enough to overcome that. And every offensive coordinator is going to huck up a handful every game, anyways.
Yep.
So I think their connection is strong enough they overcome any issues with that too.
Well, with Mike Evans re-signing with the Bucks, I have a feeling he's not too worried about it either.
Exactly.